Good afternoon, XRP Army. If you're catching the replay of this stream, you can go ahead and skip ahead to the 4-minute mark. Otherwise, this will just be people coming in, getting the stream warmed up. I got a lot of information to cover today. We've been having record inflows into the ETFs, but price is still going down, and we need to understand why. With all the positive news that's been happening lately, it just doesn't make sense. So again, if you're catching the replay, go ahead and skip ahead to the 4-minute mark. I'm going to give people time to get in, and then we'll go ahead and hop into the stream, okay? But I am going to cover why we are where we are. So hopefully we have people coming in right about now. Usually I have the same people hopping in the first minute or so to help me get things set up. They're always awesome that way. Let's see here. Let me make sure everything is working the way it's supposed to be working, and it looks like it is. Hopefully audio is coming through okay, which I'll find out here in a minute once I get a couple people in here. Again, I'm giving it for anyone who's coming into the stream, I'm giving it 4 minutes. I'm going to start at the 4-minute mark, but I'm going to give people time to get in, get things warmed up. So please let me know in chat as you come in, and we will get started and get everything covered. Currently, we're at the, about the 1.5 minute mark, so another 2.5 minutes. Usually there's a delay, and I'm sorry if you hear my dog barking in the background. Don't know what his issue is. Let's see here. Steven says, happy Thursday. Audio is good. That's a good sign. Good start. Thank you, Steven. Appreciate you. Good afternoon. Used to saying good morning. Threw me off. But yes, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Try and get this picture to stay on here longer this time. I always forget. I need to fix that. All right. Let's see. Can you tell me how many people are in the stream, Steven? Again, I'm waiting for the 4-minute mark, so I'm going to give it another 2 minutes. Let people get in here, and we will get things started and get underway. Again, if you're catching the replay, you can skip to the 4-minute mark if you don't want to hang out and watch. Oh, William, you're not late. We haven't even started yet. We're still buffering in. Appreciate you, William. Steven did catch your audio check for you, though. No, I promise, William, you only missed yesterday's, and I tried to let everyone know. I did a community post. So I tried to let everyone know I was moving it to noon. I've noticed the last couple days or the last few days that I would do a stream, and then immediately after, news would pop up and I would end up doing shorts. And I'm like, well, maybe I can, if I push it back a little bit and do noon, I might be able to catch those things in the morning and include it in the stream. So hopefully that makes a little bit more sense, and hopefully it doesn't impact anyone. I don't want to leave anyone out, but also I think it opens the door to a lot more people coming in the stream as well. So again, if you're just now hopping in the stream, I'm giving it to the 4-minute mark to give time for people to get in the stream and let everything get warmed up. We've already checked the audio thanks to Steven and William, and I will get everything started as I usually do here in a minute. Hopefully we get a nice influx of people in here today. I did a short this morning, and it seems to be going over pretty well. I think a lot of people are asking the same question, and that is, why is the price down if we're getting record inflows? It makes no sense. Hopefully we can address some of that today. Let's see here. Currently we are at 3 minutes 45 seconds, so I'll give it just another second here and I'll get started. And one last time, if someone can let me know how many people are in the stream, and I'm going to get it kicked off here in just a couple seconds. All right, so that should be everything. All right, I'll get it started then. So that is good afternoon, XRP Army. Welcome back to the channel. If it's your first time, kick back, relax. I'm not going to ask you to do anything. But if it's your second time, you need to make sure you hit subscribe, smash the like button, and engage in the chat. The chat is the lifeblood of the stream. I talk to every single one of you, and I love it. But the way the streams usually work is, first I'm going to hop into the price chart, and we will see what is happening with price today with XRP, and then we're going to hop into the news, and because we just use the chart for context, right? We are here for the long view. We're not here for what the price is today necessarily. We're here for what it's going to be a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and so forth. So without further ado, let's hop into the chart and we'll see what is going on with the price today. So we have had a pullback today. It fell down. We're currently at 212. We did get as low as 210. The entire crypto market is down. The entire stock market is down. And I do have context for that. But again, it makes no sense when we're having record ETF inflows, right? I think it's, 13 straight days now of inflows, but the entire market is down today. And that is because we have more data. So Bitcoin is hurting as well. They are down today by 2.9%. So not as bad as XRP, but they are also down. And there's a lot of context for that. So we're going to pull it up. Bitcoin price alert, jobless claims crash to 191K. Will stronger labor data kill Fed rates? This is why we are down today. There's usually a direct correlation, guys. But this is why we're down today. So basically, unemployment came in better than expected, which decreases the chance of rate cuts because it stabilizes the economy. So it decreases the chance of rate cuts, which we saw with a pullback in the markets. That's it. That's it. Nothing to do with XRP. And also, there is the yen carry trade, which we have talked about as well. This follows directly and correlates directly. You can see with Bitcoin. So Bitcoin follows the strength of the dollar versus the yen. We had a pullback this morning in that same chart and then a steady uptick. You can see the same thing reflected in Bitcoin. I'm not making this up. Let's look. Let's go look at Bitcoin. Look at that chart. Look at Bitcoin. Look at the chart. And look at Bitcoin. So just some food for thought, everyone. Just trying to line up some dots for you. So we covered why we had a pullback today, but ETFs are still doing well. Let's refresh everything here and make sure we're getting the most accurate updated data. I don't know why my screen is flashing on the other side. It is bugging me. So let's get the most updated accurate data. We have currently in the last 24 hours, almost 20 million of inflows, 25 million leveraged. Again, we're focusing on the spot. Again, still, but it is down, but we have positive inflows. Again, so even though price is down, XRP is still being removed from supply. We had this wonderful, wonderful spike right before Thanksgiving and a steady decline of total volume, but it has not changed the fact that XRP is still being removed from supply. Even on the down days, they're not inserting XRP back to supply, and we'll go over that as well. We track the actual XRP held in trust every single day, and we're going to cover that one. So again, make sure as you guys have questions, as we continue to move along, engage in the chat. Chat is the lifeblood of the stream. Any questions, comments, concerns, thoughts, opinions, let me know. Again, so we've covered the inflows. Again, not much new to report here as we stay up on it every single day. Price is down. Inflows are still happening. That being said, XRP ETFs extend record inflow streak to 13 days, closing in on the 1 billion milestone. Recorded a net inflow of 50.27 million on December 3rd, pushing their cumulative total to 874.28 billion. We might hit it. I mean, there's a chance if we have a record day, we could hit it tomorrow, but more than likely, we're probably going to see 1 billion on Tuesday, depending on any kind of macroeconomic shift. So that being said, US-based spot XRP exchange-traded funds have recorded 13 consecutive days of net inflows since their launch on November 14th. The funds have attracted 50.27 billion, or 50.27 million, excuse me. It would be cool if it was billion. I'd be in Maui. Let's see here. XRP ETFs are among the fastest growing crypto asset vehicles, nearing the 1 billion milestone in under a month, indicating significant acceptance in traditional financial markets. US-based spot XRP ETF exchange-traded funds continued, and I'm not going to keep repeating myself like this thing does. The positive momentum displayed by the XRP ETF products is part of a continuing active crypto ETF dynamic. Spot Solana ETFs, despite some recent days of outflows, have pulled in more than 600 million since their recent launch. So Solana's having outflows, Bitcoin's had outflows, ETH has had outflows, XRP 13 straight days of inflows, and they have more than Bitcoin and Ethereum ETF inflows combined. Food for thought. Let's see exactly what is being held in supply. Yesterday, Franklin Templeton was at 57 million, and they are currently, let's refresh and find out together. Currently now up to 59 million. So they added another 2 million. Let's take a look at Grayscale. Grayscale is up to 85 million now. And let's take a look here. Let's take a look. Where is next? Canary Capital was at 162. And they're at 163. So they added another million. Let's see if we have any change with Rex Osprey. Rex Osprey added another million. And let's see here Bitwise. No change in Bitwise. So, but they added like 8 million yesterday. So that being said, I want to pop back out here. Okay, this is important. Why is this important? We track this every day. So if you're in the stream with me every single day, which a lot of you are, William, Janine's typically here every day. Steven's here almost every day. I see these names, Three Brothers. I see these names almost every single day. And so when you're here watching this with me every single day, if you catch every single stream, we have never once, other than Rex Osprey when CoinShares backed out, we have never once seen any outflows of actual ETF being removed from these trusts. It has always been addition. The only time there was an outflow of actual XRP being held in the trust was when CoinShares was getting out of the XRP game and Rex Osprey had to shift to a different custody source, and then they added it back in the next day. So there has not been a single bit of outflows from XRP once these have gone live. It is consistently being removed. How long will this continue? And we don't have 21 shares or Wisdom Tree yet. Remember, we touched on 21 shares yesterday. I still have the bookmark here. We touched on 21 shares yesterday. They are still awaiting the SEC to declare us effective. So please wait for the announcement from our official socials. So again, 21 shares and Wisdom Tree is still in the pipeline for ETFs, and that will just accelerate this. And we're almost at 1 billion now. Sir Charles, welcome to the stream. I see you in there as well. Let's go ahead and get to the news now. I did a short on this yesterday, but we do have staking options now for our XRP. Firelight Protocol ushers in XRP staking and an analytical review of opportunities and risks. So the cryptocurrency landscape continues its relentless evolution, and December 2025 has ushered in a notable development for the XRP ledger ecosystem. The official launch of Firelight Protocol introducing dedicated staking mechanism for XRP holders. The move, long anticipated by parts of the community, aims to enhance XRP's utility beyond its established role of cross-border payments. However, as any significant protocol launch in the decentralized finance space, a cautious and analytical approach is paramount to understand its true implications, potential benefits, and inherent risks. So I'm not going to read the entire article to you, but this is huge for XRP. We finally do have available staking options. I think it's going to take a little bit of time, probably another, 6 months to a year before we start seeing more and more stabilized staking options and more transparent staking options. But this is the beginning. This is an excellent first step of what things are to come for XRP. They are building it out, and adoption is happening all at the same time. And the cool thing is, this isn't even Ripple building this out. These are other people building on top of XRP. The bigger we can build out this ecosystem, the better it's going to be, honestly. So that being said, let's hop back into the news. This is a slightly older article, but it has a lot of relevance because we haven't really been talking about tokenization and those kinds of things. It's been a lot about stablecoin issuance and cross-border payments. That's been the key emphasis of XRP to this point. BlackRock, JP Morgan, and HSBC picked tokenized yield RWAs over stablecoins. XRP Ledger is in the spotlight. I want you to think about what that means real quick as I get ready to cover this article briefly. Tokenized real-world assets are the next frontier in global finance. Major financial institutions are signaling a seismic shift in digital finance. BlackRock, JP Morgan, and HSBC say tokenized yield-bearing real-world assets surpass stablecoins and long-term potential, marking a pivotal moment for global markets. Remember, we've been saying that Ripple has been using RLUSD to get their feet wet in the game, right? To get the Banks' This isn't Fresh Prince, but to get the bank's feet wet in the game, they had to use RLUSD. And once we get clarity, it's going to open up the opportunity to use it as a bridge currency for these tokenized real world assets. So you can see the tweet right here. But RWAs include bonds, loans, commodities, and tokenized blockchain networks delivering both liquidity and yield. Unlike stablecoins, RWAs generate returns while combining the trust and transparency of traditional finance with the efficiency and scalability of blockchain, creating a powerful bridge between conventional and digital markets. We always get a little giddy when they start talking about bridges between traditional and digital markets. Notably, the XRP ledger, renowned for its speed, low fees, and energy-efficient consensus, is poised to capitalize on the rise of tokenized real-world assets. Networks that handle large-scale regulated digital assets stand to gain adoption, liquidity, and institutional engagement. With its robust infrastructure, the XRP ledger is ideally positioned to integrate high-yield RWAs, accelerating its emergence as a key pillar in the future of global finance. Institutional backing from BlackRock, HSBC, and JP Morgan elevates tokenized real-world assets from niche experiments to credible market infrastructure, offering yield and liquidity that stablecoins cannot, and signaling the imminent mainstream adoption. Don't take my word for it. Listen. Don't take my word for it. Listen to BlackRock, HSBC, whoever else you want to listen to. The JP Morgan, that's who the other one was. Can you imagine? Could you imagine could you imagine if I didn't have these things in front of me that I'm reading to you that's coming out from these major institutions? If I didn't have these things and I was saying this to you 2 years ago, you'd think I was crazy. Everyone would think it was hopium. I'm not hyping you up. I'm reading you data from major banks. Anyway, let's move along. We still have more. But wait, there's more. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to cover this article. It's basically just summing up what I've been saying for a week, but it was written by someone else. So I have one more thing here for you that we're going to cover, and then I'm going to hop into the chat. Again, chat. The way my stream works, I'm going to come into the chat. We're going to go over everything. I'll do a recap for anyone who came in late to the stream, and then we'll get back in and have an XRP Army party in the chat and hang out until people get bored. That's how it works. So, moving along, last piece of news before I hop into the chat. Ripple moves 46 million XRP as network velocity hits a 2025 peak. I don't know. Sorry, I get a little overzealous sometimes. Ripple's recent movement of 46 million XRP has added pressure to an already active market as traders assess rising on-chain activity and assets approach to a key resistance level. The transfer occurred during a period of intense demand for crypto ETFs and followed a sharp rise in XRP ledger velocity, which reached its highest level of 2025. Ripple's $101 million transfer coincides with rising network velocity. Whale Alert data showed 2 consecutive transfers involving 46 million each. Ripple moved the funds from its Ripple 50 wallet, from one of its 50 Ripple wallets, to an internal address before routing the same amount to a wallet linked to Binance. The total value exceeded 101 million at current prices. Besides the liquidity shift, crypto quant data confirmed a sharp rise in XRP velocity on December 2nd. The metric climbed to 0.0324, marking the year's highest reading. High velocity often signals strong network engagement and rapid circulation. Moreover, the surge indicates increased participation from traders and whales during a period of heightened volatility. Market activity intensifies as investors monitor whether these movements would influence short-term liquidity conditions. So basically, they're saying, is this going to affect price? A bunch of stuff is happening on the XRP ledger, but no one knows if it's going to affect the price. And it goes on to talk about how it's eyeing the 228 breakout, etc., etc. We don't need to get into all of the technical analysis per se, because we've already established what our line in the sand is. And actually, I need to probably pull that back up to you here. So our line in the sand is until we break 260 or 270 with volume, nothing is happening. And right now, our current floor as far as XRP, let's pull up the XRP chart real quick before I get into the chat and just touch base on where we're at. So if we pull it up, we're currently sitting at 211. We have fallen through the 212 resistance. Earlier, we got down to 211.3. So if we fall beyond that, it opens up all the way down to $2. Okay, $2 is still our key support for the time being. And again, we need to break through 220, hold 220, and we will not see a breakout of XRP until we break through 270 with volume. Just my opinion, not financial advice. So that being said, now I understand why my screen is flashing at me. I fixed it. That being said, oh gosh, it's dropping right in front of our eyes as I'm talking. Let's get out of here. Bad, bad, bad. We don't want to watch that happen. That being said, let's go ahead and hop into the chat. Let's see here. Three Brothers came into the chat. Welcome, Three Brothers. Steven says unemployment numbers usually go down this time of year due to seasonal hiring because of Christmas. Yeah, no, that's an excellent point, Steven. Yeah, they usually do go down this time of year, but again, it still impacts the markets. William says this is just like when Amazon stock went from $126 to $6 right before it skyrocketed. XRP is doing everything right behind the scenes, ride the volatility. I agree. I've referenced Amazon many times, William. You're absolutely right. Every single metric is just stacking and stacking and stacking, and it's not showing in the price because it's still coupled to speculative pricing based on the crypto world. Essentially, it follows Bitcoin. Everything follows Bitcoin and crypto right now, until they actually start using it, which is what we've been talking about. Let's take a look here. Sir Charles had a couple cups of coffee. Three Brothers, what do you think Jake Claver just said again? 99% XRP will be $100 the end of this month. Well, I mean, I hope he's right. That's what I think. I hope he's right. There's a lot of things happening. I mean, I am not going to deny that, but I'm not going to sit here with good conscience tell you I think it's going to $100 by the end of the year. And if I'm wrong, I will be pleasantly surprised. I am an XRP holder. If it goes to $100 by the end of the year, that's going to be a great thing for me. But I just don't see that. I think if we're lucky and we get some form of supply shock, we might see between $15 and $25. But again, we're teetering on a knife as far as how our overall stock market and economy is looking. That's just me. Please note Claver bet $1 million. Well, I mean, he bet 20,000 that it was going to be 750 by the end of the year. So, I mean, he's not doubling down. He's 5xing his bet, but he lowered the target. Let's see here. William says Jake Claver says a lot of stuff. Yeah, I kind of just highlighted that. Again, love Jake. He does great things for the XRP community. I'm just not in agreement with those predictions, and I would love to be proven wrong, and I think pretty much every single one of us would love for me to be proven wrong too. Let's see here. George says, hello, what do you think why BlackRock's still not applying for XRP spot ETF? I believe that has something to do with the NDAs. Me personally, Larry Fink and Ripple and Larry Fink and Ripple and Brad are too closely connected. There's too many things that have happened in the past. I mean, Larry Fink is the head of the World Economic Forum. Ripple's a partner. They've been seen multiple times joking about, there being an XRP ETF. I do think it's something that falls in the NDAs, and I think that's something that's sitting behind the scenes that we don't know yet. My opinion, not financial advice. As always, nothing in the stream is financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. Do your own research. I will be the first person to tell you do your own research. And again, hopefully you take the data and can form your own thoughts, thesis, and opinions. Let's see here. William says, I like Jake Claver, though, but some of his predictions are pretty wild. I agree. Race Fan says, payroll tomorrow. Please drop below $2 so I can load up. Let's see here. Tony Bruno says, hi from California. Welcome from California, Tony. Crypto Rogers, Silver got kicked in the balls. Silver always gets kicked in the balls. The world doesn't like silver for some reason. I don't know why. Everyone wants to lean gold. It did have a huge run up, so the fact there's a pullback isn't, too surprising. Let's see here. Crypto Rogers says, $8 makes me a millionaire. $100 makes me a decamillionaire. Yeah, that would be wonderful, wouldn't it, Roger? If it gets to $100, I mean, I'll be a millionaire. I'll just leave it at that. Whenever someone asks me how much XRP I have, I always say enough. That's just usually my answer. But it's not enough because I wish I could accumulate more right now. I just can't. Right now I am tapped out given my current situation. But anyway, so that is all of the chat, and we are going to hop into the recap. I'm going to get everything caught back up for anyone who missed anything. If you have any other questions and you guys want to keep this going, go ahead and let me know. Keep going in the chat. I'm going to say it a million times. If someone could let me know how many people are in here, I would appreciate it. And I'm going to go ahead and hop into a recap for everyone who came in late. Let's see here. We are currently sitting at 212, so it did go back up a little bit, thankfully. We talked about why price is down today. So why price is down? Jobless claims crashed to 191. There was an expected 219. So we came in about 30,000 below the expectation. That's why we had a pullback, okay? Why? Because this decreases the chance of a rate cut this month. It's just, you know, just playing. They're all playing. It's gambling in the stock market. So that's why, and it'll say it right here, don't trust me, you can trust the bigwigs. Stock market today, Dow wobbles on surprise jobless claims. Snowflake plunges on earnings. So there's also some downward pressure in the AI sector as well that's contributing to this. We also talked about Bitcoin following the US dollar to the yen, right? This is the 1-day chart of the US dollar compared to the yen. If you want to take a look at Bitcoin, there's a striking resemblance. There is a striking resemblance between Bitcoin and this chart. So don't take my word for it. You can use your eyes. Let's take a look here. So we covered all of this. I covered the ETFs, 13 consecutive days of inflows without a single day of outflows. We are at 874 million, that close to the 1 billion milestone. We should beat a billion within 1 month. So that means we got 10 more days. What's that? 5 or 6 more trading days to get this over a billion before we hit 30 days from the first one. Not all of them, 30 days from the first one, Canary Capital, would be 1 billion in inflows between these 4 ETFs. So yeah, it is great news for XRP. And again, we said, and we went through every single one of the holdings and verified that there have been no XRP removed. XRP is only being added every single day to these ETF trusts. 21 shares is still waiting on an answer from the SEC on when they are going to go live. We covered the staking for Firelight Protocol. Again, not something I'm going to jump into right away, but again, the first step is still very important. We have options now, and there will be more to come. That's what's exciting. This is just the first step of the adoption, and it's all happening at the same time. We had mass activity on the ledger. And again, this is a slightly older article. It's from November 25th, but BlackRock, JP Morgan, and HSBC pick tokenized yield RWAs over stable coins, and it will highlight the use of the XRP ledger. This is not my words. This is theirs. Food for thought, connect the dots. And I like to do it this way too, so you can see every single article. I like to give you facts, figures, data, logic in front of you for you to do your own research and form your own opinions. You can check out this. It's from the Bitcoinist. I'm not going to read you the whole thing, but essentially it's a summary of what they expect to happen next week. They think it's going to be the biggest week ever for XRP, basically. One of its most decisive weeks of the year. So a lot of people are predicting a price run up next week. Again, I'm not doing price predictions, but a lot of people are expecting a price run up next week. And as we discussed, we need to hold $2. We need to break through 220 and hold 220 and push through 260. Until then, it's not real. But if you stack all of that on top of the massive network velocity that's been happening on happening on the actual XRP ledger with physical XRP over the last several days, and you stack that with everything that's been happening with news from the MAS, news from Africa, right? Partnership with Red Dot Pay. All of these things have been happening at the same time, as well as the SEC is going to be loosening regulations. They announced that. There's a lot of positive information. I can't find anything negative. I want to try to find something negative. Can one of you find something negative? Do we have any haters in here? I don't have any haters yet. I need someone to argue with me, because otherwise I feel like I'm starting to lose my mind. To me, it's a matter of when. It is not a matter of if on when the price will appreciate. Let's take a look here. Stephen Hess says, thank you for all your hard work getting us all the XRP news. You're very, very welcome. That's what I love to do. And if you guys like this style, make sure you guys like, subscribe, engage in the chat, share it far and wide if you're getting some value from it. I'm trying to bring a non-hype element to XRP and to crypto, because if we're being truthful, it doesn't really need a lot of hype. The news speaks for itself majority of the time. I mean, it doesn't need hype. If you do the research, you can connect the dots pretty easy. Let's see here. Negative, just the price. Yeah, that's the only argument I ever get is there's okay, yeah, price is down. I'm like, okay, well, so is the stock market. What's your point? We saw the same thing during the .com bust, right? During the .com bubble, when it bust back in what was it, 2001, 2002, somewhere in there. I was still in high school, right? I was just about to graduate. We saw it then, and you can go back and look at Amazon's numbers and valuations, as well as like Google and things like that. Actually, this is great. I'm gonna pull this up real quick. So bring questions, thoughts. Here's my argument to price and your argument to price. If anyone who does that, I've got it right now. I just had a thought light bulb. I did this once before, and I was going to use it, and I never did. If someone could tell me how many people are in the stream, I'd really appreciate it. I'm going to keep going with this right now. This is my argument to price. Anyone who wants to argue about price. Okay, so we're looking at XRP currently at 212. I'm going to go all-time XRP. And no, I'm not going to make the argument. I'm not going to make the argument that they're substantially higher than when they were here and the percent increase and all that stuff. I'm not going to make that argument. I want to make a comparison. This is XRP all time. Let's look at Tesla. Tesla's a major winner, right? They're a huge company. Let's look at them. Look at this. They were way down here for what? How long ago was this? This was 2010. So, and 2000, so it took them what, 19, 20 years before they got going? That sounds about right. Okay, let's look at Apple. Seems starting to see a pattern here. 25 years? 20 years. Took them 20 years. Okay, let's look at Amazon. All time. That looks familiar too. That's about what? 2013, 97. So that took them about 26 years before they got up to these kind of valuations, before they even started climbing, mind you. 20 years, 26 years. Okay. So that's Amazon. What about Microsoft? I can't make this stuff up, guys. Okay. This is before they started seeing their increase. It was in 2017 and they started in 94. So almost 30 years before they had this massive run up. So okay. So I literally just covered, the top 5 stocks. I mean, Nvidia. Everyone loves Nvidia, right? There's it all time. So when we're talking about XRP and we're talking about what we're doing here, it's compared to these things that have these massive valuations. Because remember, it is a technology. It's still a baby compared to these things, okay? Our data here, if we extrapolate it out, our data here, starts in 2018. It was around before that, mind you, but it starts in 2018. We're only at 7 years. It took these companies 20 years before they even started to see the beginning of their breakout. Okay? We are here for the long view. We're not here for tomorrow. We're here for a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now. Okay? We got to use our heads. All right, I'm going to hop back into the chat here. Crypto Rogers or Race Fan says, Crypto Roger, nice. Another 1%er in the chat. Go XRP. We all want XRP to succeed. That is for sure. Let's see here. The Three Brothers, there's 31 people to stream. Thank you. Tony, with all the hype going around, you're doing a fantastic job of keeping us grounded. Thank you. Well, I mean, I guess someone has to. It's hard to not get myself caught up in it too. And I feel bad every time someone says, Jake Claver said this, what do you think the price is going to do? I literally feel bad saying that I think $15 to $25 is possible because I feel like I'm ruining someone's Christmas. But at the same time, I'm saying that a 10x is possible. That's crazy to think. I think the expectations have gotten a little too far out there. I mean, when people are disappointed with a 10x in a 30-day period, as a potential possibility, that's I don't know what to tell you. Let's see here. So we still have a lot more time to fill our bags. I don't think we're going to see any kind of spike appreciation until we have clarity and utility turns on. Unless there is some kind of massive supply shock scenario, but then, people are going to have the opportunity to sell, and it would have to happen like that. And it would have to be very, very forceful for it to be some kind of supply shock scenario that's going to appreciate the price in that kind of way. But that's all the information I got for you. We're through the chat. We've covered everything as far as any news, updates, and ETFs. Anyone have any other thoughts, questions, comments, concerns? Otherwise I'm gonna wind it down. I'm not sure how many people are even in the stream. I feel like we got a lot of good information, had a good conversation going today, but I feel like the stream was a little quieter than normal. Usually it's a lot more active. Maybe it's because Janine and Desiree aren't here. They usually chat it up for sure. Let's see here. We're here for the long haul. In the meantime, dollar cost average. That's right. Add what you, again, not financial advice. None of it's financial advice, but add what you can when you can. We are early to this race. Again, only 25% of the country has access to crypto or has any kind of investment or ownership of crypto, and 90% of that is Bitcoin. So we are still very, very early to this party. Race Fan says, I got in 2020 at 28 cents. I'm expecting the market cycle to top between $8 and $13.50. Okay. Let's see here. DEF won't go up before all the ETFs are online. Yeah, we still don't have 21 shares or Wisdom Tree online yet, as well as anything else that may be coming down the pipeline. I've heard rumors of a lot more issuers getting ready to start dropping spot ETFs in the crypto market. It's gonna if our stock market economy and if our economy can keep up, if we can keep the economy up, if we can stay out of a recession and keep growing the economy, there's going to be a lot of growth over the next 12 months. I think we're going to see some massive growth over the next 12 months. Again, my opinion, not financial advice. And again, it depends on the overall market and utility for XRP and adoption. But again, adoption and utility seem to be scaling very fast over the last few weeks. So again, not financial advice. So I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to wrap up the stream. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you like. If you want to see more content like this and you want to see this kind of content grow and drown out the hype, please like and share the video so maybe some other people can get some value out of it as well. All right, I'll see you on the next one. I'll be here at noon tomorrow. Later.